angle brace. You can use another technique. So by using as keyword, that means you can simply write like this also. Means in the braces, you can configure like this. So how you can define? So your value, that means MSG as string. We can use that MSG as string. If I defined MSG as string, that means we are converting into string, then you can see, then it will understand it and it can give you the suggestion about that. So there are two methods. So we can use a generic and we can use as, right? So both are same. So the requirement, based on the requirement, we need to uh, understand which one is better. Actually, when we are especially dynamically dealing with the data, especially when we are testing the values, we are dynamically dealing with the data. In that case, this as is mostly preferred. And in various other situations, this as is only recognized because angle braces is actually a type assertion which is very strongly understandable only for Microsoft based technologies. Other technologies cannot handle that angle braces, but other technologies can understand as better. That's the reason if anyone asks out of these two which one is best to use, then out of these two as is better to use. Why? Because later when you are using through the middlewares of various technologies, so those cannot understand your angle braces because angle braces representation is mostly understandable by Microsoft based technologies. Remember, Typescript is Microsoft based. It's developed by Microsoft, and several terms, several types, several concepts are easy for a Microsoft developer to understand because he already worked in such type of environment. And people who belong to different technologies like Java, PHP, and other, so those people find something new terms here, something new in languages, because Microsoft languages have different terms to use, some new options to use, and they may not be suitable for every language. That's the reason all languages knows about as, but Microsoft regularly uses the angle braces. So two are available. You can use angle brace or you can use as. The most preferred one is to define and use as. So Typescript language, I'm writing language. Okay. And when I compile and run this, you can see as is also working fine. You can see as is also working fine. These are generally called as type assertions. So this is another example of how we can deal with the type assertions. That means it is the process of telling the compiler. So as number, as a string, as Boolean, right? So here one simple note. So several middleware frameworks uh, can understand as. Hence it is the most commonly used technique for type assertions. That is what the concept is, right? And how to define that, I hope you understood clearly. So you can convert into any type, you can configure into any type. If you are dealing with a number, then as number. you are dealing with a string as string, boolean as boolean, right? You can easily configure that and define that. So that is how the types are configured and defined. Right? These are all important options to understand. Important options to understand, right? So what are the various types and what is type assertion? So some more types are there. So those types we can understand in advanced topics. Like once we start object oriented programming, those comes under that category, right? So generally we people call as user defined types. We can create our own types. That is possible once you start working with object oriented programming. So these are all the basic types. And what is type assertion in TypeScript? Technically, what is type assertion? It is the way to tell the compiler that we exactly know the type of the value, so that compiler can easily understand about the value type which is dealing with. It is just like a conversions, right? So that we can manage in two ways, angle bracket and as keyword. So how to deal with angle bracket and how to deal with the as keyword. These are the two important. Later in several situations, we have to use them according to requirements, right? So this is all about the basic data types available in TypeScript. Finally, you understood the type. So this is the complete summary of the types. So let me give you the summary of the types. After understanding type assertions, so let me give you a summary of the types. So that is root type is any, and next we have the other types. Primitive types. Primitive types we have number, boolean, and string, and null, and undefined. And we have non-primitive types. Non-primitive types we have array, right, and object. So we have date and regular expression. Regular expression. And we have union of types. Union of types. And we have type assertions. Type assertions. These are all important things we need to understand about data types in TypeScript. So finally, you learned about two important topics in TypeScript. One is variables and another one is data types. How to declare variables, how to configure the data types. Now next, in the language part, after understanding variables and data types, we need to know about operators and statements. We need to know about operators and statements. Technically, general operators, I am not explaining these operators here because that is all general HTML, JavaScript. In JavaScript, you will learn about operators. I am not taking any time in telling you operators, arithmetic operators, relational operators, comparison operators. So that will consume more time because these are general JavaScript basics. Any change occurred in the operator, I will tell you what are the new things we will discuss. But other operators are common, so we don't need to discuss about them because they are general basic operators. They are general basic operators. Just what JavaScript operators are there, so the same. So that's the reason we don't need to consider about that much. I will just give you a list of them. That is enough, right? What are the various operators are available and how to deal with those operators, right? Already we know about operators. right? What are the operators available? What's new in those operators? We will